All right, shalom, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, I want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakakodash. Hey, double honors, hey, apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim, pushing the work in truth and in sincerity. All right, so the name of this one is validation is vanity, and pride is destructive. And what I mean by this is that, you know, being part of this ministry, at times we want to be told that we're doing good. We want to, we want responses because it feels good. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, in a sense, we have to be on a mature level to where it doesn't become vanity, and we seek to please the Lord rather than to please men. Okay. And that's why we're, here. Okay. Because man can't save us. The Lord can. All right. And the second thing, pride is destructive. Okay. And we don't want to walk around with pride. We want to walk around, in this ministry with fear and trembling, And so, I had some precepts, of course, that I wanted to just go into, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying for you brothers, you Akim, especially you new brothers. A lot of times you're not going to give validation. Now, and I don't mean in a sense of, how can I say, I mean in a sense where somebody doesn't have to acknowledge you all the time. That's what I mean. Okay. And again, we want to be validated from the Lord. Now, validation is good as far as being in line and being and doing the right thing, right? Especially speaking the right thing and being in one mind and one accord, like the scriptures say, man. Scriptures say that the apostles, they had all things in common. None of them spoke anything different from one another. They spoke the same thing. So that's another validation. But this validation, to what I'm speaking to is, the constant acknowledgement, because Jake can get big-headed. And I know this is new to us, this ministry, and we continue to grow in it, and we want to be, we want to be acknowledged, okay? And most of the time, that leads into vanity, and so we want to be right with the Lord and get validation from the Lord rather than men, And so, again, Lord willing, this is edifying. So I want to start with Sirach 3:17. And this point here is, two bros who have, a mighty spirit. Okay. Let's see if we get it. So Sirach 3:17. All right. Okay. It says, my son, go on with thy business in meekness. All right. We know what meekness goes into is humility and humbleness. Okay. All right. The Hebrew word is ainah. All right. To be lowly of heart, lowly of mind. All right. Okay. And when you go on more into the word ainah, all right, it means to be forced. All right. So you forced to humility. All right. Doesn't have anything. So stick with that. Okay. So it says, so shalt thou be slackish. So shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. All right. So in the real ones, that's validated are, the apostles and elders, because they have a long streak, they have experience. All right. And so we want to do our business in meekness and not, always want to be in the front and being acknowledged. Okay. We all have problems with this. I especially have problems with this. And that leads to insecurities if you're always looking and seeking for that acknowledgement, So the main thing is to be sincere, stay true to yourself, and make sure you are doing your due diligence to, saying the right things. Okay. Verse 18, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself. All right. And so, brothers might have mighty spirits, You know, at times you have to, again, to go back to that word ainah, to force yourself to be humble. All right. I know that's what I have to do because, brothers might think, because you have a mighty spirit on you, brothers might think you're a little proud. And you might not be, you just going with the flow. But sometimes we have to behave ourselves in such a manner that we don't offend. Now, I'm not saying, always walk on pins and needles, but there's definitely a balance. Sometimes you don't have to be yourself all the time. And what I mean by that, be yourself, but don't be too full of yourself, and watch what you're doing and watch what you're saying. Because it's not always about, showing forth, you know, um, your fun side, or, you know, um, that the funny side, or all of that, And I know these things through experience, At times nobody wants to hear it, nobody wants to deal with it, And that's fine, that's cool, We're being put in a position where we have to behave ourselves and act like men and mature men, So, and the scriptures go into that, basically, just behaving yourself. David did it. And I always refer to David because, his example of behavior saved him from being put to death, and it could be this, it's the same with us. Okay. And that's why we don't, do things that's, compromising, and that would have us being looked at crazy, And I know I done irritated brothers, with my spirit, and Salakia, and I've done things to, make piss brothers off, or whatever the case may be, and hell, I would get mad because, hey, Jake want to have fun, or whatever the case may be, but it ain't all about that, So I'll continue. It says, many are in high place. Oh, Salaki, I'm going to read it again. 18, it says, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. And we're trying to find favor in the sight of the Lord and not in the sight of men. It says, many are in high place, all right, and of renown. And we know we love brothers, and we want to show, and we want acknowledgement from brothers, but get that acknowledgement from the Lord, rather than, brothers. It's not a bad thing, but again, we want to move with balance. All right. It says, many are in high place and of renown, but mysteries are revealed unto the meek. All right. The lowly. Okay. So we want those mysteries, man. We don't always want to be acknowledged and be in the forefront and always being, somewhat praised, whatever the case may be. Verse 20, it says, for the power of the Lord is great, and he is honored of the lowly. You see? So you play your position of being lowly and meek, and moving in meekness, minding your own business, doing what you're supposed to do in sincerity, we're honoring the Lord. Okay? It says, seek not out the things that are too hard for thee. All right? Neither search the things that are above thy strength. Okay? And so we don't have to be too deep. All right? We can keep it basic, keep it simple. And, we should rather do that than always, trying to be on the level or show we on the level. I know for one, I'm not on no level, it might, sometimes it might seem that way to certain brothers, but, I know within myself, and the Lord knows, we're not trying to do things above our measure. All right. Because that would just make us look stupid, and we've all been through it. We all been through the experience, and we continue to grow and gain experience. Sometimes we do go off. We're not perfect, but it's good to acknowledge these things and pay close attention to how you're moving. All right. And and what you're bringing out. I like to keep things on a general basis, to keep it safe, so to speak, but sometimes you have to go a little deep. Sometimes you have to go above the measure, and that's not in a competitive way, but more so testing yourself type of way. All right, challenging yourself, being better than your standard. All right, and that's within yourself, and you have to find that within yourself and balance that out within yourself. So let's continue. All right, greatly humble yourself and remember that the Lord hates pride. All right, and that's the next point, because these things can lead into pride, because knowledge puffeth up. All right. And one of the things that the Lord doesn't deal with is pride. So we have to be mindful of that. All right. And that's why we should move with fear and trembling. In a sense, yeah, you are walking on pins and needles, because you're dealing with the Heavenly Father. You're dealing with your Majesty, man. Yahweh Shemel Shai. So we want to behave ourselves. All right. And we want to remember that we to move in meekness, you know what I'm saying? And we don't have to always be offended in how brothers react to us, or how brothers, say things to us. If you do have those insecurities, pray to the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, that He will toughen your skin, and let you get over that weak nature. All right. Sirach 10:7, this is pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. You see, so yeah, the Lord hates it. Men hate it. And you gain pride because you're searching. You could be searching for a little acknowledgement, or you could be, you could have a little knowledge and nobody's acknowledging, and automatically you'll get frustrated, because you become, it's all about you now, and it's not all about us, man. And that's one thing we have to constantly remind ourselves: this is a privilege, this is grace, and treat it as such. It's just very delicate, and again, keep praying, keep examining yourself, so that you be within the confined lines of what's good and what's acceptable. All right. So let's continue. Proverbs 8:13. Again, Proverbs 8:13, and it reads, it's like, fear the fear of the Lord Yahweh is to hate evil, pride, all right, and arrogancy, because these are the evil things: pride and arrogancy, and the evil way. All right, when we're supposed to shun ourselves from that, because what are we supposed to be? A new lump. We're supposed to be new creatures, and we're supposed to move a different way. All right, with a different mindset. Okay, and it says, in the froward, meaning basically opposite, in opposition, so to speak, a froward mouth do I hate. All right, and so we don't have to always be in opposition of things. We can go with the flow of things. Sometimes we can bridle our tongue and, just shut the F up, and it's okay, brothers, to tell me to shut the F up, but it's also okay to, hey, brother, to say, hey, brother, in a meek way, in a humble way, and there's always balance, and you do you do things through the Spirit, so it ain't, always that one way. All right, and be mindful of that, especially when you're dealing with brothers, and you catch these certain things. All right. So 2 Thessalonians 2:4, we are here to please God, not men. And then that's one thing we have to understand, because vanity is a mother. All right, vanity is a mother. Okay, and we have to eliminate that. It says, let me go up. All right, 1 Thessalonians 2:3, it says, for our exhortation was not of deceit, nor of uncleanness, nor in guile. All right, so we weren't built up on lies and in a mischievous way. Okay, this grace that we received was in pureness, or it was pure. Okay, with the most sincerest intent. Okay, verse 4, it says, "But as we were allowed of God to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but the Most High, which trieth our hearts." So we're not doing this in a sense for our glorification, but so that we can sincerely and really bring in the elect. All right, with sincere words, not with the big words and fair speeches, as the scriptures talk about. All right, it says, "Nor of men." All right, Slack, it says, "For neither at any time use flattering words, as ye know, nor a cloak of covetousness." All right, which a lot of Israelites do. All right, they do this thing with covetousness. They do it for their own sake, their own belly. It says, "God is witness." Okay, "Nor of men sought we glory, neither of you nor yet of others, when we might have been burdensome, as the apostles of Hamashiach." All right, "But we were gentle among you, even as a nurse cherisheth her children." And that's how we're supposed to be. Okay. So being affectionately desirous of you, we were willing to have imparted unto you not the gospel of God only, but also of our own souls, because ye were dear unto us. Okay. This is an intimate thing. All right. A sincere thing. Okay. Galatians 1:10. All right. I like this one. So Galatians 1:10. And it reads, it says, Salaki, it says, "For do I now persuade men or the Most High, or do I seek to please men? For if I yet pleased men, I should not be the servant of Hamashiach." So we're not here to always get hoorahs and hoorays from men. All right, that goes into vanity, that validation, in the sense of always being acknowledged for every word you say. All right. We're not seeking that validation. We're seeking validation of the Lord. All right, making sure we're saying the right things. And if we're not, amen, it's easy to say, hey, brother, that simply didn't mean that, and help exhort and build, on that premise. Okay. Now, there's a difference. If brothers being proud, then you just have to sharply rebuke. All right. Lord willing, this is making sense. So Salaki, it says, verse 11, "But I certify you, all right, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man." All right. And that's one thing that the apostles, one of the biggest things that we notice, even with our apostles, all right, that this gospel is not, after men. These men took, were given the responsibility of the gospel, and they didn't do it in covetousness. They didn't do it in guile to get something from us, but rather to uplift us and prepare our souls for salvation, with the utmost sincerity, okay, and sacrifice. All right. So we're supposed to push forth that same energy now. All right. Okay. It says, "For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Hamashiach Yahushua." All right. So Salaki. Next one, Lamentations 3:26. Okay, cool. It's Lamentations 3:26. And it reads, it says, "It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord Yahweh. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth." All right, that's your strength. Okay, it says, "He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, All right, because he hath borne it upon him. He putteth his mouth in the dust. If so be there may be hope. All right. And so we don't want to move proudly. All right. The mindset is to stay meek, stay humble, mind your business, which is this truth, and don't seek after the vanity. All right. Don't seek after the vanity. It says, yeah, that's it on there. So let's see. Psalms 2 and 11. All right. Just two more and I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna, end it. So like Psalms 2 and 11. It says, serve the Lord with fear, serve the Lord Yahweh with fear, and rejoice with trembling. All right. Okay. And so in a sense, we are walking on pins and needles. Okay. But balanced, All right. Be yourself, but you don't have to exert yourself on brothers. All right. Verse 12, kiss the son lest he be angry. All right. Because what we're trying to, make sure we in alignment with Yahweh Shai. All right. It says, and ye perish from the way, lest he be angry and ye perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are they that put their trust in him. All right. Last but not least, Philippians 2 and 12. All right. Philippians chapter 2, verses 12. And it reads, it says, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right. And this concludes everything. All right. Work out your salvation with fear in the Lord and trembling, and not, pretty much exalting yourself and wanting, acknowledgement from bros or whatever the case may be. Get your acknowledgement through your sincerity, through, serving the Lord, through diligence and making sure you lining up with the standard, as best as possible, All right. So it says, for it is good, it says, for it is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. All right. Because our righteousness is not our own. It comes from the Lord. It says, do all things without murmurings and disputings. All right. Because that can come from, certain brothers don't get acknowledgement. You'll feel some type of way. And that'll lead to your insecurities, because you're seeking vanity rather than seeking the Lord in sincerity. All right. It says that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. All right. So we want to be blameless and harmless. Okay. That's a big one too. Okay. The greater thou art, the more humble you should be. Okay. And yeah. All right. Because we don't want to be in the line of fire like this crooked and perverse generation that we're dealing with, this adulterous generation, as the scriptures say. Lord willing, this was edifying. All right. Until next time, I say shalom.